Good morning and happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and as always, thank you for taking the time to join me here on Sunday mornings at 11:11 or at your convenience. And just a reminder, this does go up on YouTube about an hour after I'm done here. And if anyone's interested in watching me there, if you want to share with a friend from YouTube, it is youtube.com/Inspire YOUTV. That's my channel, and it's available if you'd like to watch the archives. Well, it's a beautiful day here. Well, all days are beautiful, rain, shine, whatever, but it is a rainy day, but sort of cleaning up all the mess from the snow and the ice, and just feels kind of peaceful. So hope wherever you all are that you're experiencing a beautiful day, and we're all blessed. Well, I want to remind you that the prayer ministry is here to support you in your prayer needs. And if you would like to submit a request, you can just send me a message. You can text me if you have that info. You can go to the website, charlottemcginnis.com, and click on the prayer ministry and submit a prayer that way. So either way, we'll get the awesome prayer team praying for your greatest degree of love, and really just to melt the illusion of fear and identify with the truth of who and what we all are, which is only love. And we're going to talk about this today from a little different context, and I'm looking forward to getting into that. But also, just a reminder, Wednesday is this coming Wednesday, the 17th, is Ash Wednesday, beginning of the Lenten season, representing the 40-day fast. Jesus journey through the desert to purify his soul, to really face his demons, his ego, whatever you choose to see it as. But either way, it's an opportunity for us to do the same. So to take this 40-day journey to really the heart, journey to the heart. And I'd like to say that Susan Warner, a friend of mine, has offered generously to share a daily lesson, Lenten lesson, with anyone who'd like to receive it. So if you're interested, I'll add you to the list. I'll make sure that you get it every day. So moving forward, what about the Lenten season? You know, I wasn't raised Catholic, but often, you know, more in the Catholic Church, my Catholic friends would always take very seriously the Lenten season and agree to fast. And they might fast, you know, I'm giving up chocolate, I'm giving up pasta or alcohol or whatever it is, you know. But I love this, and it was actually Carol on Facebook posted this, and I am going to share it because I think it's so powerful. Because when we think of fasting, often we go to the food or the, you know, chocolate cake or whatever it is. Good morning, Dawn. Good to see you. And so how about thinking of this? And thank you, Carol. You probably didn't even know I was going to share this. So Pope Leo says about Lent, I would like to invite you to a very practical and frequently unappreciated form of abstinence, that of refraining from words that offend and hurt our neighbors. Let us begin by disarming our language, avoiding harsh words and rash judgments, refraining from slander and speaking ill of those who are not present and cannot defend them. Measure our words and cultivate kindness and respect in our families, among our friends, at work, on social media, in political debates, in the media, in Christian communities. In this way, words of hatred will always give way to words of hope and peace. So good morning, Janet. Happy Sunday. Good morning, Donna. Good to see you too. So here we are. Let's abstain and fast from, if you want to let go of the chocolate cake or whatever it is, that's certainly well and good. But let's abstain from thoughts and words that are harmful and not loving. If you really want to see evolution of your own consciousness and see the world through the eyes of love and literally transform the world from the illusion of separation and fear to love, this is a great way to start. And this is certainly a time that the world is calling for it. Well, I want to give my gratitude also and appreciation to the monks who made that journey. Oh my goodness, 2,200 miles, right? From Texas to DC, walking every step of the way in peace and love and compassion. Well, they made it safely to DC. There was beautiful ceremonies, and oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever seen the mall so filled with people. So as I've said many times over the past several weeks, these monks, the message, don't take it lightly. You know, I can pretty much assure you that in their heart, they carried no hatred, no vengeance towards anybody. They were standing so present in love, and people felt it and didn't even know what they were feeling, in my judgment, because, you know, it's one time that I've watched. Nobody could really snag onto that and point a finger and judge. Well, maybe a few, but for the most part, I think people were truly touched and realized that something was happening, and maybe they couldn't explain it, but they could feel it. So don't take any of these gestures for granted, because that's where our true power lies. The Course in Miracles says, "In my innocence is my strength." So we have to learn to be more kind and compassionate. Good morning, Susan. Susan, I put the word out about the Lenten this week, so thank you for doing that. So I want to, this is not intended to be controversial. It's actually intended to be a plea for healing, and maybe another way for us to take a look at where we're holding anger and judgment, and how we can overcome and transcend. And I'm going to do my best to move us through this process of what's going on in the world, because the world is a very difficult place to be in these days for everybody. You know, we feel the intensity and the vibration of everything really that's going on. And so how do we deal with this? And the statement is one I saw, and I saw it on Facebook, and I did share it, and it did receive overall positive response. I think we're all feeling this. And I am directing it at one specific issue, but it really is a common denominator of all separation and all fear. And we're going to talk about this today. And the statement is, if bringing down an elitist-run child sex trafficking ring will collapse the government, perhaps that government needs to collapse. And I'm not talking about the United States government. I'm talking about the souls that are really doing things that aren't so loving and so kind in the world. And so, you know, there's, you know, I think we're at a time where we're seeing everything, and it has been prophesied that everything is going to come to the surface. It's going to be a call for healing, and we've got to face it with love, with power, not with missiles and guns and ammunition, but really meet it with our hearts in the greatest degree of love possible. And so not only is this Epstein scenario bringing up, breaks my heart to see these victims. I know we're not a victim in the highest realm, we're not, but we're here navigating through this world, and sometimes things get ugly, and sometimes things, part of the healing process is things need to explode, and before it's got to crack open so we can offer an opportunity for it to heal. And I really feel like that's what's happening. And not only for Epstein and this child trafficking ring, but so many things that are happening. I mean, financially, politically. I'm not a political person, and I find it interesting. I guess I am political because I do a lot of research and I watch a lot. I try to look at both sides as much as I can, but I'm not out putting my stake in the ground, taking sides. I'm really using this as a means of choosing to understand, you know, what's really happening here. And if you really investigate, as I've intended and wanted to do, as the Native American quote said something, you know, there's no such thing as left and right. They're both birds of the same feather. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not here to take sides, to make wrong. That's not going to get us anywhere. But just to recognize that, you know, we hold on to our thoughts and how things have to be before they're going to be okay and they're going to be at peace. And I do feel like that, you know, if the government needs to collapse, then it will. And a lot of things might need to collapse. And that's not a bad thing. I know it's a little scary, like, okay, even though it's not comfortable and we don't like it, it's familiar, we know what we're dealing with. But I definitely think for us to really awaken to this new earth, this new world, integrating heaven and earth, is going to require us to maybe take the advice of a great mind, Buckminster Fuller. And you all may know him. He's known for his innovative architectural designs, particularly the geodesic dome, and for his visionary concepts on sustainability and resource management. And, you know, for those of you that have been to Epcot, the geodesic dome is the center of its, you know, it's right there for you to see, and it's a cool little ride. And it's intended to really demonstrate the possibilities of a new, more sustainable experience. So I love Buckminster Fuller. And the more I read about him and the more I get to understand his mission and his heart and his message, I'm like, wow, this guy had it all going on. And it's a great teaching to follow. So the geodesic dome is a structure that we all know. It's round, it's like a big ball, and it's very sustainable, very strong, and can actually keep, they say it's a geodesic dome, the shape is a safe, very safe and very environmentally put together way of living. And I do think it's very powerful. And you do see geodesic domes pop up and in different parts of the world, and they're affordable, they're environmentally sound, and very wonderful. And he's also combined this Dixmaxian concept, and it means dynamic maximum and tension. Well, what's that mean? He's built homes and cars with this concept, and it optimizes efficiency and functionality. And the Dymaxion house was intended to be practical modular living space that could be easily assembled and disassembled. So he was thinking outside of the box. And along with Einstein, you know, the quote that I refer to often, and you hear from many teachers, is that we can't expect to make change, sustainable change, with the mind that created it. Well, his whole theory is, you know, we've got his famous quote, we never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So here we are. This model obviously is not one of oneness and love and peace by the ego's judgment. I mean, everything is playing out as it should, and we're sort of in between the worlds here, and lots of other thoughts and ideas. But for the sake of just kind of understanding and being practical, understand that, you know, this model isn't meant to be fixed. It's meant to be forgiven, right? That we've talked about that a lot over the years. But to change something, and I feel like that's what everything that's crumbling around the world, that is really, we have to build a new model that makes the old one obsolete. Well, the old model is one of pain, suffering, division, control, war. It's not really one that's working. It's not one that's filled with light and love. So what do? We build a new model. Well, how do we deal with this? We're going to keep going into this. And I welcome any feedback or thoughts you may have. So I love this quote, and it's actually the title of today's talk. We are called to be architects of the future, not its victims. And that's, I think, so powerful, so huge. In the Course of Miracles, There's a teaching that says, I am not a victim of the world I see. It's very tempting, very easy to say that we're a victim of the world. We're a victim of our past. This horrible thing happened, and ain't all these things happening in the world, they're just terrible, they're awful. And by the ego's judgment, they are. And there's some really dark things happening in the world today. But you can't fight fire with fire. What's it do? Makes the flames bigger. So we're going to build on this. I think you know where I'm going, because I'm preaching to a very elevated in consciousness choir here every week. So humanity is acquiring all the right technology for all the wrong reasons. Now you got to figure, this was written, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, and acquiring all the technology for all the wrong reasons. So what does that mean? Well, right now, what are you thinking? I'm thinking AI. We've got this wonderful technology that has great potential, and as in every single thing, I can use AI or anything for the purposes of bringing more light in or more darkness, more unity or more separation, more control or more cooperation and collaboration. So what I think it's real important to send the good vibe, not like, I hate this technology, or I'm going to use it to, like Austin Powers, I'm going to use it to control the world. You and your kitty cat too. So anyway, but either way, I think you get the point. Everything can be used for ego or holy purposes. So send the AI, send everything. Say, I've been contemplating, I do have a lot of compassion and, for all the people who are tied up with this Epstein situation and then the immigration issues. And I'm not coming from political, it's just compassion, because people are hurting, and these souls are our brothers and sisters. Not going to take a stance or a side or let's fix it. Let's send love and be directed from a new place, creating a new model. The old one is not working, and it is ready to, it is exploding in front of us. And that's not a bad thing. Remember that. It's not a bad thing. It's actually, as I continue to read, and we probably all have over the years, we're living at one of the most exciting times in the history of this world. And if we show up with, an open heart, allowing ourselves to be present and forgive the past and say, I want to build a new model. And what's that new model look like? Well, what is God's will? God's will is for us to remember who we are and to see the face of Christ in each other and everyone, and no one's exempt, and make decisions based on the greatest good of all. God loves us all the same. God loves, the people who are playing a dark role and the people who are playing the loving role. In God's eyes, we're all divine and holy beings, and I do believe that. But we sometimes forget that. And when we forget it in ourselves, we project it on others, and it's not getting us very far. So one of the things is to build this new model is integrity. And integrity is really, I think, doing the right thing. And, we all know what the right thing. And I think the more we evolve spiritually, we also know that when we're not doing the right thing and then we try to justify it and convince others that this is the right thing. And but integrity is being in alignment with God's will, choosing to make decisions which serve the greatest good of all. Wouldn't that be an awesome vision if we did nothing else, was to say that every decision I make and you make, and bless all the people making the decisions for the collective, just pray that they make decisions based on the greatest good for all. Not giving them my list of here's what you all need to do, because we're always going to be divided. Well, I want this. Well, I want this. I don't know what the best is, and I don't really know anyone who does. But maybe they do, I don't know. But I know God knows. So if we allow ourselves to just say, okay, do the best for everybody. Wouldn't that be awesome? So Gandhi just reminds us that if we're not, and this is my framing of it, is if we're not coming from love, it's not going to, and integrity, it's not going to last. That's why everything is collapsing. Everything, unlike love, is crumbling in front of our eyes. And it's a good thing, because in the end, love always wins. It has to. It does. I believe that's God's will. And it's about us using our free will to align with forgiving the past, staying present, opening ourselves up to creating the new model, blessing those who are in the command position to do the same thing. And so this is another interesting insight. And thank you, Sandy. Good to see you. Happy Sunday. And I love this because these are all quotes, by the way, from Buckminster Fuller. He was, again, such a wise soul. And everyone is born a genius, but the process of living de-geniuses us. And ain't that the truth? You know, we come out just ready to, like, let's rock and roll, man, and I'm here. And all of a sudden we get programmed and tied into these belief systems and ideas through the education system and through religions, and some are producing us, some are leading us to love, and some are leading us to stay dense and heavy in this world. So the process of living de-geniuses us, so we have to unlearn. And by unlearning, it's just saying, you know, I forgive the past, I'm present, and show me the way. And one thing, too, is an example, you know, when Buckminster built Spaceship Earth at Epcot, I mean, it's a cool concept. I didn't appreciate it at the time at all. You know, when that first time I was down there, I was, I don't know, my early 20s, something like that. I just liked the rides. So anyway, but he said that the most important thing about Spaceship Earth, he didn't have an instruction book with him to create it. And, you know, there you go. What a beautiful example. It was unlike any other creation, architectural design that had been created up to that point. And it was very sound in its sustainability and environmental health and so on and so forth. And he didn't have a book, a guideline to do it. Well, where the heck did he get this idea? Like Einstein, I want to know what God thinks. I think that Buckminster, you got to break down, let go of the old model. It's got to collapse and begin anew. Quit trying to put, you know, duct tape on everything and fix it. I'd like to see everything blown away and in a peaceful way. But so we can really co-create what we're here to co-create, which is a world of cooperation and collaboration on earth as it is in heaven. The two become one. In other words, I am so pure in my sight and vision, and you are, and everyone else is, that everything I do, say, and everything that I am plants more seeds of light and love into the experience, and that the heaven and earth become one, because we realize that the only thing that we have to fix or change, really, is our perception. And trust God's will be that which leads us all to the greater awareness and experience of what we're here to experience, which is love, unity, peace, compassion, kindness, all of those. And so I thought this was an interesting statement from him. Pollution is nothing but the resources we are not harvesting. And sometimes I look at these trash mountains, you know, and I'm just thinking, man, that's a lot of trash. And then there's all these, so I like this. Everything, again, can be recycled, reused for the greater good. So we have to open up and say, this trash is not a bad thing. This pollution can be redefined, reused in a positive way. You know, we immediately put our judgment into everything and think that we know best, but open up to the bigger picture, God's mind. You know, we've got the intelligence of the universe that wants for each and every soul nothing but good, and integration of heaven and earth has become one. and we just need to tap into it. And it's not our thinking mind, and we have to unlearn all of these things that we hold, these ideas that we cling to so tightly. So pollution is nothing but the resources we are not harvesting. Even that can be used for good. You cannot change how someone thinks, but you can give them a tool which will lead them to think differently. And I think, that's so true. We're always trying to convince everybody and change how they think, and how can you think this way, and get into these great debates of why I'm right and you're wrong and they're bad and you're good, and where's that really get you? Not very far. But it's really, what's that tool which will lead each other to think differently? Well, I think the greatest tool, and maybe or maybe not what he was referring to, but the greatest tool that we have is the change of consciousness in ourselves. Be the change we want to see in the world. Extend that love. Live the message. And when we do this, then it's contagious, like the monks. It's like, well, they didn't say much, and they just kept walking through the snow, and they didn't, they weren't carrying signs, and they had a cute dog with them, but really, but what we all felt is beyond describing, because it's like, wow. And yet they didn't have all the glitz and glamour and funding and whatever, and they yet transformed the world. I really feel like they were so powerful in that message, and an example of being a tool for that, which is getting everybody to think a little differently. So he also says, make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest time. Though some through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. So that's really what needs to collapse, is the hierarchy. We're all one. There is no hierarchy in the kingdom of heaven. I believe that we're all souls here trying to find our way home, muddling our way through this. It's a classroom. I think everything's erupting at this point in time, and it's an opportunity for me to show up differently and to recognize, everything from the past to this point keeps replaying itself. And I do talk about karma, and we can stop karma by changing, really forgiving the past and being present. There is nothing to forgive. That whole idea of karma, yes, there is, for every action, there's a reaction. And yet, we can get off that karmic wheel if we can just let go of our story. Because I feel like karma is a story, and then and we can go the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is to say, I surrender, let go. So these are very powerful quotes and teachings from Buckminster Fuller. And he was a fantastic being who I feel tapped into an intelligence beyond that which is in encyclopedias and books. And although, again, those can be helpful and are helpful, I believe that so much of what we're learning now, that our divinity is, we're here to unlearn, because we've piled so many belief systems and ideas of how we, keep ourselves separate and in conflict and whatever, that we're really putting a veil between us and each other and us and our Creator and love. So, yes, absolutely, Jane Ann. Good to see you there, girl. Hope you're feeling better. So, I love these quotes. And one of the happiest moments in life is when we find the courage to let go of what we cannot change. Well, that's powerful, huh? You mean I don't have to fix it? I don't have to change it? I can just let it go? One of the happiest moments in our life is when we find the courage to let go of that which we can't change. I like that a lot. Just let it go. Live and let live. I know Ellen and I have been tapping into the quote a lot this week. It is what it is, rather than getting into the story and the drama. of what's going on in day-to-day life. It's like, it is what it is, you know, and that sort of diffuses it. Or how about interesting? Interesting. So that's not like I'm attacking and fighting. It's just like interesting. I want to be open to God's thoughts. The past is over, move on. You know, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the past. Let go of your story and move on. Things change, stuff happens, and life goes on if we allow it. So also Lao Tzu, he says that new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. And does that feel familiar? Like, I feel like we're going through that birth canal and rebirthing a new world, a new earth, a new integration of God consciousness infused into everything. And yes, it feels painful. It's disguised as a painful ending, but it's all good. It really is good. And if we just allow ourselves to, you know, quit telling the story, we can't start a new chapter collectively or individually if we keep rereading the history, the old story. So we continue to tell those stories, and then I know that people follow a lot of historical models as a reference. Well, guess what? If I study that, I'm making it real, and it's like, see, I told you, history just keeps repeating itself, because guess what? That's collectively we put it, well, history is a good monitor and gauge to where we're going. Well, for this new model to emerge, I feel we have to let go of that too. And that requires a great level of trust and letting go. But I think we're ready for it. I really do. And so we can't, the secret to change, and this is from Socrates, is to focus all of our energy not on fighting the old, but building the new. And if I could probably say that any statement, all of these are really coming to the same conclusion, is, you know, we can't fight the old. It's not meant to be fixed. Just let the old one collapse and begin anew. I know it's fearful to the ego mind that we want to protect our little creations and miscreations, but to spirit, it's like, come on, you all can do this. Trust me, I got your back, okay? So, you know, we just have to turn the page and move on. And it's a blank canvas from here on out. A very wise man once told me, you can't look back. You just put the past behind you and let this open up to a better future. So don't look behind you. It's no longer there. All your past, except its beauty, is gone. God is here right now. I am not a victim of my past. I'm not here to be punished for my sins. And the more we can live from that place, and I want to clarify this because often it's interpreted as people saying, well, you know, that we have sinned in our past, and so we need to be punished for those. And no, we don't, and neither does anybody else. That's an ego tactic. Who taught us that? 2,500 years ago. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. We're moving into this season of transformation and evolution and restoration and lifting that veil. That's what the whole Lenten process leading up to Easter is facing our ego and letting that go. A great time for us to commit to building a new model. Let everything collapse, unlike love, unlike the will of good for everybody. Because if it's not good for everybody, hey, Sue, it's not good for anybody. So we're all one, and we're here to remember that and recognize that. So this is something I think that this was a little teaching that I want to sort of wind down with. And it's a Buddhist teaching, and if I'm correct, I believe it was from one of the Buddhists who was in this march. I can't swear to that, but I think so. But either way, it's a really good story. and something for us to take into heart, because, you know, it says today we're going to discuss how to deal with toxic people. Toxic people can be found everywhere in our society. Sometimes they're in our family, sometimes they're in our neighborhood, sometimes they're our friends. In one way or another, we have to deal with them. At the same time, we don't want to hurt ourselves and we don't want to hurt others. So we need to find a way to handle these people. Today we're going to talk about that. So the toxic relationships, you know, it can be your family, it could be your coworkers, it could be your friends, but this is really, to me, even a bigger message. It's anywhere where I'm withholding love. So let's hear what we have to learn here. First, I will tell you a well-known story that shows how the Buddha dealt with a toxic person. And you can use this as a teaching for a toxic person or condition or situation. Use it for really anything that is a veil between us and the light, and our brothers and sisters in the light. One day, a man came to Buddha and started yelling, insulting, and cursing at him. Do you know how the Buddha faced this situation? He smiled. He didn't react at all. Throughout the entire situation, he kept a gentle and positive smile on his face and looked at the man kindly. In my innocence is my strength. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. That's the power. This is just so much teaching us where our power, real power, lies. After some time, the man stopped yelling. Everything he built up inside was finished. Then the Buddha asked him a question that seemed unrelated to the situation. He asked, "Do you receive visitors in your home?" The man was surprised and said, "Yes, I receive many visitors." The Buddha asked, "Do you offer them food and drinks?" The man said, "Yes, I do." Then Buddha asked, "If they don't accept what you offer, to whom do the food and drinks belong?" The man laughed and said, "If they don't accept them, they still belong to me, and I'll eat them." The Buddha smiled and said, "The same applies here. You have offered me anger and harsh words, but I don't accept them. I don't accept what you have given, so it still belongs to you." So that gets to the point. We don't have to accept this. It only takes one to heal a relationship, usually the saner of the two. You know, we get into that cat fight, right? And, you know, defend, attack. I got to be right. I got to make you wrong. How's that working? It's not working. The whole point of this. The man was amazed. His anger cooled down, and after listening to Buddha's teachings, he became a follower. See how calmly and wisely the Buddha handled the toxic person? Now think about yourself. If you were in that situation, what would you do? Normally, when someone yells at us, we try to argue back. Doesn't work, by the way. We try to prove them wrong, and we respond with anger. The Buddha taught if we respond to anger with anger, we're sharing it. When I become angry, I'm accepting what they offer. So what should we do? First, keep a calm and positive expression. Don't show anger or sadness. If you show that you are hurt, you're giving them what they want. Many toxic people want a reaction. Don't give it to them. Stay calm. Be the bigger person. And I believe this is so powerful right here, right now in this world. You know, be calm, be peaceful, be loving, be the bigger person. Toxic people want a reaction. It's ultimately a call for love. Insane behavior is a call for love. So I can be the bigger person and stay calm. Because sometimes we're all the teachers. We're all teachers and we're all students. So it's exchanging that. So we're all here walking each other home. Stay calm, be the bigger person. Remember, people who easily express anger often lack emotional strength. Strong people remain calm. So choose to be emotionally strong. Don't argue. Listen carefully to what they say. Separate the person from their words. Remember that. Separate the person from the words. Focus on the message, not the emotion. Sometimes they may be upset because of something you did. Ask yourself honestly, did I make a mistake? If you did, correct it. But don't react with anger. And if you didn't make a mistake, don't waste time proving them wrong. When someone is angry, they don't listen. Silence can give powerful answers. Prove your point through your actions and success, not through arguments. So I think that we have to let go of our anger in the world. You know, we can do better. I feel that, I sense that. There's things we can do to bring healing to these situations and compassion and love, but never through anger, never through pointing fingers. Seek to find that which unifies us. Anger will never win. Love always wins. So what do? Well, the best way to build this skill is to practice loving kindness. When you truly care about yourself, you will not allow yourself to be consumed by anger. When you practice compassion, you will not respond with harsh words. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Loving kindness and compassion help you handle difficult people or situations. Being humble does not mean being weak. It means being emotionally mature. You can also prepare yourself by visualizing how you would respond in such a situation. Imagine yourself smiling, listening calmly, and handling the situation wisely. When you rehearse this in your mind, you'll be more prepared in real life. And so yeah, you can begin to play these roles out in your mind. How can I, when you recognize where we're being judgmental and pointing fingers and getting angry and upset, put in a new tape. That's what, when the VHS tapes, when I was getting into the Course in Miracles, they said put in a new tape, and they always use the example of VHS. So whatever it is today, put in the new program is really what it is. And the more we can reframe our thoughts about everything, then we can remain calm and kind and stay strong. So remember, never give toxic people or situations what they want. If they want anger, don't provide it. If they want to hurt you, don't allow it. Stay calm, stay kind, and stay strong. And he closes, I wish all of you the strength and wisdom to deal with toxic people successfully. So stand in love, no reaction. And I want to say that, and I've talked about this many times over the years, is, over in my childhood, IQ, intelligence quotient, and you still see it. Oh, they got a high IQ, they got a low IQ. Really, they're finding that some of the most successful people on the planet don't necessarily have high IQs. That's not what makes people successful. And they came out, I don't know, 30 years ago or so with this emotional intelligence, EQ, emotional quotient. And really what that means is that emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, is that I can be in the world, I can smile. And when you can be in the world and not be reactive, but be peaceful, that's the most powerful thing we can bring to the party. So, yes, sometimes it feels like the world is in total shambles, it's ending. Well, maybe it needs to. It's not the begin. It's not a bad thing. It's just the beginning. It's time for us all to create a new model. And REM, you may remember the band from the 80s and their song, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. So it's out here for us to take and receive if we choose to. Stand in our power of love, smile, bless, create a new model, forgive the past, lay down your weapons, and see what we can create. I think this is a very exciting time. So thank you all for tuning in. Bless you too, Don, and bless everybody. God bless the entire world, no exceptions. And if you'd be kind enough to pass this along, I would appreciate it. And in the meantime, have a great week. See you very soon, a week from today, or in the book group, or wherever we may see you. Blessings and namaste, everybody.